Yeah, you like that one?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So glad I came up with it all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
No context for anybody. How you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing aight. Doing
Yeah,
aight.
that's good enough.
How you doing?
I'm tired, Zim.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
Patches.
Hi, Patches.
Hi, Patches! Oh, right, the thing. The thing that I wanted to tell you that I've now forgotten. What was I talking about before we decided to stream?
No idea.
Fucking, you're supposed to retain it!
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Oh. Got my eye examined
Mm-hmm.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Ice! Hello!
Oh my goodness.
But frag. Got my eyes examined
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and it was very
Yeah.
funny to me because he went, you're supposed to be coming here like once a year, right? I went,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because the last time I went there, you'll never guess how old I was.
Mm-hmm. How old?
14.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I hadn't been there in a while, and he just kind of stared at me. He was like, "You know this, right?" And I was just like, "Yeah." Oh, what were you drawing, Ice? What were you doing? What were you doing? Anyways, the amazing digital circus.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh, that's
Mm-hmm.
fun. I always like doing that with OCs. I was drawing 3 of my OCs based on a picture I found. That's always fun.
Ooh. That
I
is
like
always fun.
doing redraws with OCs and Sonas and such.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Ah, wah, 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 wah,
Anyways,
wah.
Amazing Digital Circus is a shit show right now,
Yeah.
as the fandom may know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell us about your thoughts on this, holding up the microphone to you?
How about you tell them first?
You fucking okay. So for context, the Amazing Digital Circus is an indie show being produced by Glitch Studios, and the creator is Gooseworks. Uh, Gooseworks? What pronouns do
Yes,
Gooseworks
Gooseworks.
use?
She, her, maybe they, them. I
I'm
think it's
just gonna
she, they. Go
go
look on
check
Twitter.
this. Please look on Twitter. Um, but recently the new episode is set to come out like at some point June something, June 4th, June 8th, for the
Mm-hmm.
final episode to come out on YouTube. But 2 weeks before that is going to be a premiere of the last episode, along with the 8th episode. So it's actually runs like film time in theaters.
Yeah.
However, the problem with this is that a lot of people is that it's mainly running only in the US. I think it's only running in the
Mm-hmm.
US.
It's now in Mexico.
Congrats everybody. It's running in in Mexico and now the US. So diversive. Um And it's a problem because the Amazing Digital Circus fans are everywhere, and they're not showing any like sort of, I won't say willingness, but any sort of anything
Mm-hmm.
to get it spread any wider. Uh, and be and this is a problem because that means for 2 weeks, you, you person who has not watched the new episode, will have to stay off the internet for 2 weeks, maybe, because the Amazing Digital Circus fans don't know how to not give spoilers on things.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the new episode is that it's an hour-long feature based on one of the two main characters instead of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an underlining issue because they've been doing this for the past 3, 4 episodes now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, about 3 or 4. 4, I
yeah.
think.
Because 5 is when they kind of started like the transition in light words for
Mm-hmm.
Jax to being the main character. Uh, and so on. But here's the thing. Despite Jax being like one of the, if not the fan favorite, it's kind of gross, I want to say, or unfair. Unfair is a better word. How the
Mm-hmm.
fandom and the entire studio and merchandise treat him because it comes off very misogynistic.
Yeah.
Will you please take it away?
No.
I fucking hate you. You know that?
You got this.
I hate you! Actually, I need to take meds real quick. Hold on.
So true, King.
They're not really meds, it's vitamins. I just call them meds because it helps me remember to take them.
Mm-hmm.
Gummies.
Gummy.
Gummy. Gummy goo.
Gummy,
Actually,
gummy, yeah.
you know what you could do?
Hmm?
You could tell them why we took so long to start streaming.
That also seems like a you thing to do.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill you!
No, you can keep talking about the Amazing Digital Circus because we talked about like a bunch of shit last night. You can even just pull up the messages.
I will. Can you please tell them why it took us so long to stream today?
Yeah, we started calling. I turned on my camera because Ez had sent me a letter and I opened it on camera. And then we were continued talking, and halfway through it, we suddenly realized we were just like, hold on a second. This is like, we could be talking about this on stream. So we then tried to fire up web phishing because that was
No,
originally what
no,
we were gonna
no,
do.
no.
Oh.
Halfway through, we remembered, oh yeah, we should be streaming. And then we made no move to stream. And then,
Mm-hmm.
and then we kept going. And then we got
Mm-hmm.
paused. And then
Yes.
continue on with your story.
Yes. Thank you, dipshit.
Fuck
And
you!
we tried to fire up web phishing because that was the original idea, was to webfish and then we can like all that sort of stuff and we can just yap. However, we tried to fire up web phishing and as it turns out, his laptop for whatever reason has decided that their graphics stuff is not compatible with web phishing, despite the fact that the game has not updated and we have played it many, many, many times before. For some reason, it's just deciding to throw a bit of a bitch fit about it. So
Mm-hmm.
we are unable to play web fishing like we planned, so we're just doing like a talking stream. Or we're doing a
Which
talking
is
stream, but I'm also doing web fishing in the background just for like my own fun, and I've found a way to go into the void.
oh,
I'll send you the photo.
thank you. Because we were gonna do web fishing and talk about the amazing digital circus, because that's usually what we
Mm-hmm.
do on our own time when we do web fishing. We just talk while we play web fishing. Maybe watch anime. Specific
Mm-hmm.
anime with subtitles. Oh my god. Why are you in the fucking void? Shithead. Hello?
Ah, sorry.
God,
I was typing something.
you're good.
Yeah, no, you can that's one of the things too. There's a final thing. So I've got like every creature in web fishing apart from one in the miscellaneous section, and I had no fucking idea how to do it, so I looked up at the wiki how, and it was just like, yeah, you find it in the void. I was like, in the what now? And then I looked at the other wiki how, and it told me how to get into the void, and now I'm in the void.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just fishing in the void now, so.
Congratulations, you've joined the
Mm-hmm.
void.
I am in the void.
Um, Back to the amazing digital circus. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of this actually came from Zim messaging me at what time was it?
It's
Messaging
like
me at
3 in the
8,
morning.
no, at 8 p.m.
It was in the morning for me.
Yeah. About like 8:50 p.m. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
with a 5-minute long voice note
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Twitter feed being full of, I don't want to say Jack's hate, but Jack's critique.
Mm-hmm.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of people are coming out just being like, oh yeah, we don't actually enjoy Jax a whole bunch and we don't like him taking the center
It's
stage.
so the thing is, it's not that they don't enjoy Jax, but it's one of those where since the pilot episode, it was kinda, and even Gooseworks' own fucking like the way she did the advertising, the way everyone did the advertising, it seemed like an ensemble show.
Hmm.
Or in the very least, Pomni was the main character and everyone else was on like the same level of ensemble. However, as it turns out, that is not the case.
It's in fact called the
And
Jax show.
Pomni and Jax are the main characters, which that's okay, I guess. It kind of you change stuff from the pilot, you like rework some stuff, whatever. But now it's kind of becoming a Jax focused show, and it's like I don't know. It just kind of feels like a
And
yeah. It
even
was it was at the time it was like it's an ensemble show from the pilot, but now it's not, and now it's kind of becoming a Jax focused show, which is quite annoying in my own head because I'm like, why
mhm,
why are we picking him over like all these other characters who are just as interesting? But yeah, it's kind of becoming very Jax focused, which
yeah.
pisses me off.
And what made it worse for me, also sorry if any of you actually really enjoy the amazing digital circus, but one tweet or post I saw from Gooseworks was saying, "Oh yeah, only the real Jax fans are gonna survive this show,"
Mm-hmm.
which is not a good sign.
Yep.
Because if your enjoyment of the show is based on how much you like one character, I say this not politely, it's not a good show.
Yeah. It's also one of those I've seen a lot of people rightfully critiquing the way that they set up the show, but I've also seen a lot of people turning around and going, well, if people had such an issue with Jax, then maybe like the show less. I actually saw a tweet that was worded exactly like that, and I was like, no, I feel like you're missing the point. My issue isn't with Jax as a character. He is a very interesting character, and I'm not denying that. My
I just don't want
issue
him
is instead
shoved
with the
in my
fact that
face.
this was pitched in the pilot as an ensemble show, and it hasn't been until like halfway through the fucking show that changed. That is where my issue comes in. It's not the fact that like, oh, but like you don't like Jax, so therefore all this other shit. And it's like, and I'm not hating on Jax as a character. I am kind of sick of him, but that is just because he's become so fucking like prevalent in the show, which is whatever, but it's just the fact that it's like, no, because the show was set up as an ensemble show. That is what was heavily implied to everyone. I am not the only one who thinks that. And now suddenly it is not an ensemble show, but it in fact has two main characters, being Pomni, who makes fucking sense, seeing as we set up the pilot with focusing on her and following her through the digital circus, and she is new, and Jax, who is exactly the same as everyone else in the fucking circus. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it's also one of those where I'm like, when I set up all the characters together, the one character that like stands out is Pomni, and that is because she is new. That makes sense why she is the main character. But Jax, and compared to the rest of them, they're all on the same fucking level. And it's like, I don't understand why Jax is a main character when he is practically indistinguishable from the rest of them when it comes to being in the digital circus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they all stand out from each other, yes, but when you boil their characters down to it, he is on the same level as everyone else, so I don't know why he is one of the main characters. Especially seeing as that wasn't set up in the beginning. If it was set up in the beginning of the show that was like how it was gonna be, or like even before halfway through the fucking show, then I'd have less of an issue with it. But they didn't do that. It feels like it came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
which I think is my personal main issue. Is it feels like it's come out of nowhere. Like, yeah, he got a lot of focus, but the fact that he is one of the main characters, that feels like it just randomly happened one day. Like Gooseworks woke up and just decided, you know what, I'm going to make this I'm going to make Jax, my favorite character, one of the main characters. And that confuses me very greatly because I don't get it. I don't know why that is the way that it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of like pointed this out, because a lot of the male characters are like heavily focused on, like they get consistent like development throughout the show
Mhm.
or build up.
Mhm.
The other
Mhm.
characters, aside from Pomni, don't really get that as much.
Mhm.
We learn more about them, but we don't get a lot of like development itself.
As Gooseworks said in like one of their posts, is like they all get kind of one episode that focuses on them.
Not really.
But again, not really, because the thing is, that's what she said. However, the male characters get consistent development even in other people's episodes, while the women and Zubul don't. They have their main episode, and that's like fucking it for their development, which is that's not how you write characters,
Yeah. Because Zubul and King are
and it
shared an
it annoys
episode.
me. Yep.
Gangle got her own episode, but it was also shared with Pomni. Like, Gangle
Mhm.
did take a main focus, but Pomni also was a
And
big part of
Ragatha
that
got her
episode.
episode, but that was shared with Jax.
It wasn't even shared with Jax. Ragatha had like one big moment, and that was
Yep.
about it.
Yep. And it just kind of, yeah, it's one of those where it's like, it feels very annoying and lackluster because, again, all the men get like very consistent development throughout all of the episodes, regardless on quote unquote whose episode it is.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the characters who are not men don't really get the same treatment.
Actually, if you really want to think about it, that moment
Mm-hmm.
between Ragatha and Kinger, it could have been classified as both a Ragatha and Kinger moment
Yeah,
because they were both
because it
getting some
was.
sort of development there.
That is good when you're doing character development. That is good. However, her Ragatha's development was in the pilot, in the episode where they were doing everyone's chosen adventures, and that moment in the adventure with the guns.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Which is annoying when you then compare it to Kinger and Jax and Kane, where they have development every, like, good,
Here's
decent development every single fucking episode.
here's the difference between those. The the non-men have moments. They don't have a moment. They have moments.
Yeah,
The men consistently have moments
yeah.
and a moment. Hell,
hmm
Kane got he shared a moment with Zubul too.
Yep.
I'd say like more people focused on Kane than they did Zubul in that moment.
They really
Actually,
fucking did. And that's another thing. Consistently when it comes to the men and non-men having development at the same fucking time, everyone focuses on the men's development and not on the non-men.
mm-hmm.
Like with Ragatha and Kinger, when they were in that dark room together and they were talking about it, everyone talks about Kinger. And also with Kinger and Pomni, when they were in the horror episode, everyone talks about Kinger. To be fair, that was like a big Kinger moment. But they
It
really
was supposed to be.
overshadow the emotional turmoil that Pomni went through that moment as well. But
Mm-hmm.
even in the big moments, like Zubal's dysphoria, everyone focuses on Kane. During Ragatha's crash out, everyone focuses on Jax. On Ragatha talking about the fact that she feels like she's let Jax down, everyone was focusing on Kinger. To be fair, I
Mm-hmm.
understand why people focus on Kinger more than they focus on the non-men, because Kinger does have very good moments, but they keep prioritizing the men and the men's reactions over the non-men, and it's kind of getting to a point where I'm like, it's weird.
It's
It's
misogyny.
like, it's not like a quote unquote issue, like a big issue, but it's one of those where I'm like, it's kind of odd how that is a consistent pattern that happens not only in the fandom, but also in like
The
the
show.
canon media.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just the fans having some issues with sexism and misogyny here. It's like, this is like something that's, you know, happening
And the
in
creator feeds
every
into
part of the
it as
media.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you guys want to know a fun fact? I looked at the merch store for the Amazing Digital Circus, and I went through all of the products, and there is 116 of them. And I went through this multiple times to tally up who gets their own solo merch. So if it's more than one person on it, I don't count it. And Jax has 18. Gangle has like 8.
Mhm.
Zupel has 7.
Mhm.
And it's really
And Jax has
disheartening.
18, and the only other person that comes close is 11. And I'm
Okay,
pretty sure that's Pomni, isn't it?
hold on. Let me recheck. I can find this really easily because I sent it to someone and I got no feedback from it. No, it was 14 and that was Pomni.
14 for Pomni, 18 for Jax. and Pomni is the main character.
Hmm.
Put that into perspective.
And sorry, I put granola in my mouth.
Okay,
I'm having breakfast.
that's fair. He's one of those where I'm like, it just feels like a mess.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy the show, but as soon as you start looking at it for longer than surface level ignorance, it's a mess.
Hmm. And
And it's like
here's
it's
here's
just the
the like
development.
main kicker of the merch thing. Jax has
Mhm.
double the amount of all the non-women, all the non-men, sorry,
Mhm.
than besides Pomni. And Pomni and
Yep.
Jax will swap outfits, so technically they are wearing merch of each other.
Mhm.
But if you look at it, the reason that Pomni gets so close is because of the group merch that like comes in,
Mhm.
everybody has one, but some characters are left out of those usually,
Yeah.
as well as the figurines.
Gangle.
Yeah. Gang sorry,
Gangle.
not
She's left
Gangle.
out of all the figurine stuff.
She is. She has like two figurines, I believe, and
I
like
get that that
maybe
also
two
might
plushes.
be. Yeah, I get that that might be because it's one of those where she has a very difficult design to translate into a figurine because her ribbons, one, aren't attached to each other, and if you do attach them, it's a very not structurally sound
You
piece.
see, that would
So
be
like I
great.
get why,
That would be a great
but
excuse if it weren't for the fact that they also didn't include Zooble
yeah,
in half of
which is
those.
another thing where I was just like, see, I get that from like a producer's point of view or a production point of view, but also they don't include Zooble in half of them either.
And Zooble,
And Zooble
you
is
mainly get
significantly more
Zooble
structurally
merch.
sound.
You mainly get Zooble merch from specifically earrings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I kind of
yeah,
want you to go through all of the merch stuff and count up with all of the group shot stuff too. Just to
I've thought
see how
about it,
different that is.
but I was like,
Because, like, Jax appears in a lot of group stuff.
yeah, he's like the main character of most group stuff too.
Yeah. But that is also what pisses me off, because it's like, the merch as well also kind of treats him like he is the main character when he isn't.
Yeah.
And that annoys me greatly because it's
Like, I
not
didn't
just the
even
show, it's
include,
not just the fandom, it is literally in everything. He is
yeah,
being treated like he is the main character, despite the fact that Pomni is the protagonist.
yeah. I didn't even include, like, the little mystery box things.
Oh
But if
god, the
I
mystery
did,
boxes.
yeah, but if I did, Pomni and Jax's would have shot up because they both get multiples in those and nobody else does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really irritating.
Yeah.
And it's very
Again, it's also the
upsetting.
fact of most of my issues come from the fact that in the pilot it was very heavily set up as an ensemble show, and even as Gooseworks, I have my own issues with Gooseworks answering like so many questions the way she does, but also the fact that she literally turned around at one point and was just like, yeah, sometimes I just lie for fun, and then she like crashes out when people don't understand what she's trying to do and say for all these things. It's like you literally admitted to all of your fans that some of the shit that you just say when you clarify stuff it could be a lie. It's like she doesn't help herself in that regard, but
Like, you
also
dug
it's one of those
yourself
where I was
into the
like,
hole.
yeah, even as she was talking about the development of stuff and even as she was asking like answering all these questions, it was very heavily implied that this was going to be an ensemble show. This was going to be a show where they were all basically the main characters. Yes, Pomni was like in the forefront because she's new, so we would be focusing on her a lot more, but they would all be on like the same level. but that isn't what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like one of those where it kind of just came out of left field, because it's like, but even in the beginning, from like the fucking start of this, it has been very heavily implied that this is an ensemble show, and now suddenly we're focusing on two characters. And I wouldn't be as mad if it was just focusing on Pomni, because I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. I could have just misread it like wrong, because to be fair, makes sense. She's new. She's very clearly trying to like help all of these people with these own stuff. She's very clearly the ringleader. Um, but
Irony,
then
probably not
they had
include.
two main characters, and they made one of those main characters Jax.
The bully, you know, the guy that like everybody in the circus is kind of like
I
iffy
would have
on.
been less mad if they made the main character Kane or Kinger.
Yep.
I would have been less mad, because that makes more sense to me. You either have the AI that's running the circus being the secondary, like the other main character, or one of the guys that literally made the fucking circus being the other main character, which would be an interesting contrast, because you have someone that either is or made the circus contrasting the other main character, which is new to the circus. But no, you choose the fucking rabbit.
And I can see where the desire for him comes from, because people love bully characters. People love
Yeah.
them. Like, look at Bakugo from My
Mhm.
Hero Academia. But here's the thing, Bakugo gets a fucking character arc, and he is shown to be changing for the better throughout
Mhm.
the anime. Jack
Yeah.
seems to just be realizing the consequences of his actions, but he's not really doing much with it.
He's not changing, he's not going through personal growth. He's just suddenly realizing, "Oh shit. The mentality that I have had of none of this matters doesn't really fucking make any sense, because we're all actual people stuck in this circus. Like, my denial isn't working anymore." That's
Mhm.
all his fucking quote unquote character development is just my way of coping isn't working anymore. It's not even realizing that he is in the wrong. It's just he can't, none of this is real this anymore.
Mhm.
Which is also another reason on why I think it pisses me off so bad that he is now one of the main characters, because it's like he doesn't really have any fucking development. It's just he realizes that
It's
the
like
way that
building up
he's
to a
using,
car
like the way that
crash.
he is coping, isn't fucking working.
It's like building up to a car crash. Because you have the
Yeah.
dude speeding down the road, and you see how destructive that is, especially in the lane that
Mhm.
he's in and where he
Yep.
is. And you see him keep picking up speed, and you see him being chased by like someone to like slow down and telling him why it's a bad idea. But and by the time he's like kind of realizing this, he's already crashed into somebody.
Yeah.
He's just a nepo
So it's like
baby in
a,
some sense. You know what? Yeah.
yeah, he
That's
is
so
actually, because he's Gooseworks' favorite as well.
yeah. And I can and that kind of like gives a sense to why he's so popular. It's because Gooseworks is catering towards herself and thus the fans of Jax and getting more merch of him and putting more emphasis on him because he's the favorite.
Yeah.
Like how many
You want to
doodles
know something even
do we
funnier?
get? Hold on. How many doodles do we get on fucking Tumblr of Zooble and Gangle? Huh? Everybody else gets doodles. Where the fuck are they? Huh?
Mhm. Yep.
Go ahead.
You want to know something even funnier? I would be less mad if they somehow made Gummy Goo one of the main characters.
You know what? Cause that would have been actually interesting.
It would have been interesting, but it's not fucking interesting. I think it's also, sorry, it's also another thing that I suppose goes into it is not only all of these like issues with misogyny and sexism and all these other crap, but it's also just the fact of this is a story or a dynamic that has been done over and over and over and over again, and it's getting boring. It's
Mhm.
getting boring, so I'm not excited for it. It's not like one of those situations where if Kane was one of the main characters, that's fucking interesting. Wow, you're going to make the AI that is a captor that doesn't understand the implications of what he does, and you're going to make him the main character. That's interesting. Or with Kinger, oh, that's also interesting. The creator and the most newest, like, and the
Oh,
newest addition to the circus, like, being the main characters and, like, discovering all these things and, like, all this other that is also interesting.
Sim.
Or Gummy Goo, where it's an NPC that gains
I'm gonna give him that.
sentience and is helping the humans escape. That's interesting.
Yeah, because he has like
But
no
no,
knowledge of anything that's happening because he's an NPC.
yeah,
He doesn't fucking know. And that would
he
have been an
doesn't know. He
intriguing
is an
dynamic because
NPC.
it's the
Yeah,
new guy,
yeah,
it's the new
it's the
girl
new
learning
guys.
with an NPC.
Exactly. And it's also one of those where it's then an interesting moral dilemma on the sense of, oh, but if I help you guys escape this circus, I will cease to exist. And all of this, and the fact that I am now sentient, I am a person, I will die. And I will die. I will be gone. And just,
Raising
and
my
like
hand.
going through that moral dilemma of, well, if this happens, he'll be fucking dead.
Hmm.
And like, will that matter to him to the point where he either tries to sabotage the humans leaving, or like will try and convince them not to go, or will he selflessly just sacrifice himself anyway? And will one of the humans have issue with this? Like, I
It could be so
bark,
interesting.
bark, woof, woof, bark. But no,
Ice says, "My sweet baby Gangle." I agree. Gangle is also one of my favorites. It's hard to find a favorite in the Amazing Digital Circus when all of them are not all of them. When like the more interesting characters to me are background characters
yeah, I
almost.
think another thing is, I'm bashing the Amazing Digital Circus pretty bad. But the thing is, it is done so well in so many other regards. The way that it actually writes the characters are very good. The way the characters interact with each other are very good. And that whole thing with Kane, like, basically going insane, was so well done. And there are so many things in the Amazing Digital Circus and in the story that are so well done. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean that it is immune from a lot of the fucking problems that it is basically just kind of repeating over and over and over again.
Hmm.
And
And
it's like I do like the Amazing Digital Circus. I do like it, and I am excited for this finale. But I'm also dreading it because I know that it's one of those where I'm like, I'm dreading it because the way that it's being set up, it is not going to be something that I enjoy as much as I have enjoyed previous episodes. My favorite
mhm.
episodes of this fucking show are like the first episodes because it was more of an ensemble cast, because it was more focused on Pomni, because it was
Pomni
different.
learning about everybody.
But yeah, and Pomni learning about everyone and like all this other shit and like them figuring out the dynamics with each other.
And
But
then
the
the
later
moment she
episodes,
starts
while they
getting
are good,
focused, and then I
as,
think part of
as,
the, can I please, pretty please, just a quick thing.
that's why I went quiet.
Okay, cool. One of the things is that the transition was Pomni learning about everyone gradually, but the thing is, she never kind of learned about Zubul.
Hmm.
She never hung out with Zubul like she did everybody else. But you see
And
her
she didn't
skip
really learn
Zubul.
about Gangle,
No. She had a talk with Gangle, if you want to call
but that
that like
wasn't
a
even
thing.
really a talk.
It was
That
more
was
of
like
like a,
her going, okay, we're doing this again, and then Gangle just going, aha, we're fine.
yeah,
And that was it.
yeah. And
And then
the
her
thing,
offering to lock up.
mhm. And
That's it.
the thing is that it skips over two characters that I think she would have a pretty good relationship with, mind you. Uh,
Hmm.
and then it immediately skips over to Jax, and once she gets to Jax, she hyper focuses on Jax.
Yep.
Okay, you may go now. I am finished.
While the later episodes of The Amazing Digital Circus are good, and I really like the plot, my favorite episodes are in the beginning of the show. And that's not just because it's like before she focused on Jax, but it's also because it felt far more like everyone was getting an equal turn in the hot seat. And everyone, it was like setting up to development with the characters that would have actually gone somewhere. Like Gangle having that drawing where she, Pomni, and Zubul are sitting at a table. Or Ragatha when they have that everyone has their own adventure thing, and she is like, she's looking at the two groups branching off, and she is by herself. Like, it was setting up for some really interesting shit, and then nothing happened. And don't get me wrong, I do like the later episodes and like all of the plot going on with them, but there was so much that was like set up in the way of the characters interacting with each other and the developments that could possibly happen in the future, and then it just did nothing with them. Like, it set it up, it happened, that was in the show, that was in front of my fucking eyes. I saw it happen, I saw the setup, I saw us like, I saw the direction it could go, and then nothing happened. And then we just didn't do anything with it.
I
And I was
just
like, that's...
realized
Yeah?
this is what I meant by when I was trying to make that point about not knowing much about Gangle and Zubul. I was trying to say we didn't get much development with them. Not that we didn't
Yeah.
know anything.
Yeah.
And also,
There's not
Icy
a lot of
says
development.
apparently a lot of people think that Jax is the one that crashed into Gangle. Because last we see of his like real life moments is him driving a car and Gangle keeps on getting hit by fucking trucks. But here's the thing with that I don't really agree with.
I don't know
I
how
don't
I feel
think
about that one.
Jax is as the main thing. I don't think it would be a very awesome like in canon thing cuz it's the fact that he quote unquote kills her and then he starts bullying her in the circus. Like that's just like hitting the nail into the hitting the ham. What is it? Hitting the nail with the hammer, whatever the phrase is.
Hitting the
Like
nail
yeah,
on the
you
head.
no, it's a different one.
Nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin, yeah. Um
You were like trying to mix two sayings together. I was
yeah.
like, what are we doing?
But
Hitting the nail on the head
first
into the coffin.
yeah, exactly. You're making a point and then you're digging it deeper.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, you killed her and then you're gonna bully her in this quote unquote afterlife. But also
And yeah, while he might
the
not know
vehicle
that
he
that's
was
her, it's still
driving
like,
was definitely not a truck. That was a car.
yeah. The thing is as well, I think the car was very much probably Jax running away from his issues. I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff, or at least with Gangle in the truck, I feel is symbolic. It's not literal. I feel like it's the truck is to symbolize something, either that being her own suicidal ideation or something like the emotional change or something. The truck, I feel, is symbolic and not literal. Jax in the car, I do feel is literal, like a literal way of saying that he very often runs away from his problems. I do not think they are interconnected in any way, shape, or form.
I think
Especially considering the fact that these people who have gone into the circus are brain scans. How the fuck are we getting Gangle's brain scan into the circus when she got run over by a car? Especially because she came after Jax.
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just like
No, it is.
a popular theory. It is confirmed. She arrived in the circus after Jax. So how the fuck does Jax hit her with his car, but then brain scan her, but also have his
Because
brain scanned before
another
her?
thing that we know is that supposedly all of the characters are coming in on the same date, just different years.
Mm-hmm. So like how does that happen? How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
like it is interesting to try and connect the two, but as soon as you take in the other stuff that is actually confirmed and try and make it work, it doesn't add up. Because
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't make sense for Jax to hit her with his car, brain scan himself into the digital circus, and then somehow manage to brain scan her
Plus, plus another
on
thing
different years.
is that everybody recalls putting on a headset before coming in.
Yeah. And on top of that as well, if it's one of those where it's just like, oh, but Jax had his brain scan to put in the circus, and then his body went out and then killed Gangle, he wouldn't remember while he's in the fucking circus.
Yeah.
Because that body would be going and making new memories that would not have been scanned into the digital circuit, so he would not have seen that that happened. He would
And we
not know that
know,
that is a thing that took place.
and I don't know if the brain scans specifically are being cherry picked or not, because it is assumed that Ragatha, it's confirmed that she was doing the headset thing with her friends,
Hmm.
quote unquote friends. I don't really know how much friends they were.
I
um,
think they basically just convinced her to put the headset on and then just fucking left her, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, me too. But that is like presumed with my way of thinking. If you want somebody to put on a headset, it's a headset. It's going to be pretty expensive. So,
Hmm.
assumedly, if they were her friends or if they were enough of like friendly enough to for her to consider them friends, they all would have gotten their brains scanned, but what made it and if that and if it were a specific headset, they all would have gotten into the circus. But they
Yeah.
don't. And
Yep.
Icy says, okay, I think the line they came in was Kinger, Ragatha, Jax, Gangle, Zubul, and Pomni. You know,
Yeah.
Zubul was definitely the last one to get there before Pomni, so yeah.
Yeah, we do know that. And we also know that Jax very likely, or like confirmed, came before Gangle because of also the promotional material where it's Kinger, Jax, and Ragatha talking to each other, and also in all of the photos that they have and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly Gangle came after Jax, and then it was Zubul.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's one of those where it's like that theory doesn't really fucking add up. But also it's one of those where with Ragatha getting into the circus, there is a very popular opinion that the bodies aren't just like left there. It's like a scan of the brain and then the body
As
goes
they
away.
are.
Yes. So it's probably like she put on the headset for like a dare or something, and then she took it off, and then their friends just left it at that, and then they left. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but then that also creates but that's another reason on why I do like the Amazing Digital Circus, because then that creates a very interesting idea of, well, how the hell are they going to quote unquote escape the circus if they're brain scans and nothing to like return to unless the bodies come back and like re-upload their brains to the like re-upload these like experiences to their brains. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
How are they going to escape? Like that's interesting.
especially with the message of the show being enjoy the mundane and day-to-day life.
It's finding meaning in a stagnant life.
Yeah, that's what it was. Same thing,
Yeah,
just
it's
different words.
finding a will to live in a life that doesn't excite you, basically.
Yeah. And them escaping the circus will not fulfill that message.
Yeah. Especially considering the fact that the last episode, a lot of people were like theorizing that that was going to be because of Pomni basically saying we just have to make do with what we've got. Like that was a good moment to be like, yeah, this is what the show's meaning is finding meaning in a stagnant life. And then they went on to Kane's crash out and then them trying to leave the circus again. And it's like Either they're going to bring back Kane or try and leave the circus. It's like one of the two.
Unless they try to rebuild the circus from their own minds, which I don't think that would be as fun or as quote unquote stagnant, because
Yeah,
then they'd be making their own adventures that they themselves would like.
yeah, pretty much. And it's one of those where I'm like, the two options or the three options I can see it going is trying to escape the circus, trying to rebuild the circus with their own minds, or trying to bring back Kane or Bubbles. I keep saying Bubbles like my D&D character and not Bubble. Or like trying to bring back the AI. There's like that's the three ways it could go, and
This
I don't know
is
which way I would prefer. I don't think they should escape the circus because I feel like
no,
that can't happen.
no.
But rebuilding the circus with their own minds is interesting, but also so is trying to rebuild Kane and like give him purpose again
Yeah.
and like fix the mistakes they made in the fact
This
that they didn't
is,
treat him well.
I'll be so honest, this is one of the indie, a lot of like glitch productions. I can't see them as casual watches. I don't think you can watch
Yeah.
them and just move on with your life. Like, this is a show that you have to think about.
Hmm.
Because I was talking to someone and I started bringing up like the weird misogynistic thing that they had with the merch specifically. And they went, "Oh, I don't have any thoughts on that." And I went, "How do you not have thoughts on that?" And they went, "I just watched the show." And it's like, I don't understand how you can just watch the show and not have any
Hmm.
takes on that.
It's like
Because I just
I don't
don't
know
get
how you
it.
can watch a glitch production show and not try and have a deeper understanding of what actually is going
Like, can you
on. Not only
imagine
with the plot, but also with the like implications
messaging?
of stuff. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine watching Knights of Guinevere with someone and they just go, "Oh, I have no hot thoughts on like the misogyny that's being like showcased here." What?
Or
Or
hey,
like the
let's watch
classism.
yeah. It's like, oh hey, let's watch the Knights of Guinevere, and you ask them, and it's just like, so what do you think about the comparison between this park and like real world and like real life? And they're just like, oh, this is supposed to be based on real life? Like, huh?
Yeah, I don't really theorize
How do
on
you not
this
make
one,
that
but I did
connection?
with murder drones. That's fair. You don't need to theorize on it, like on your own, respectively. You don't have to. You just have to be able
Hmm.
to think about like the nuances of the show when as you are watching it. That is the
Yeah.
point here. And if
Yeah,
someone
it's
like
like,
prompts
or
like
even
a
if
thought for
someone
you,
brings it up to you,
yeah,
you can actually like think about it and digest it and go, oh yeah,
because
or oh
that's
no.
because that's really like the point of like a lot of shows. You're supposed to watch it and then you're supposed to have points that you're supposed to be able to talk to with other people who watch it. I don't think that's ever been not the case for any of the shows that I've ever watched.
Yeah. Yeah. I want the Gaslight District to come out. I want that's what the show I want. I love the Amazing Digital Circus is great and all, but it has its issues. But I want the Gaslight District, and if they fuck that up, I'm gonna cry.
No, I just watch it and don't really think that much. Okay, this I'm saying that if somebody prompted you to think about it, you'd be able to think about it with that
Yeah,
person.
if
That is the point that I'm
if we were
making.
watching the Amazing Digital Circus and I turned around and said, "Oh, it's a little weird that all the male characters seem to be getting a lot more love than the female characters," you'd
Like
be able to
that's
have a conversation with me about it.
yeah,
Like
because
maybe
you
you don't
watch
think
the
about it in the
show.
moment, but as
Yeah,
you look back on the show in your memories and you go, actually, yeah, there's these things that I remember, and you can have that conversation. That's what I mean. That's
kind
what
of
we
like
mean is, yeah, you don't think about it in the moment, but being able to engage in that conversation with someone when it is prompted
because
in
that's
any way,
what
shape, or form,
fandom is about.
that's it. Yeah.
That's fandom culture. Just
Mhm.
like how you went, okay, yeah, that would be so much better, or you're just being like, or with the theory about Jackson Gangle. That is thinking about the show while
Mhm.
after being prompted.
Yeah.
Because now you're taking in more information and you're open to having a conversation about it. It's less so making up ideas on your own and more so just being able and willing to discuss it with other people.
Yes. And that is, unfortunately, a lot of people are not good at that because they'll watch the show, and then when someone tries to have a conversation with them about that show, if it's not 100% positive, a lot of people then go, yeah, I didn't really think about that, and then they don't continue the conversation further. They don't think about what's actually being said to them or what like someone has noticed in the show that they didn't notice. They just go, whatever, which is where the whole
Interesting.
if you're watching a show you should be able to critically talk or like you should be able to have a conversation about it comes from is I'm not
Because,
expecting you to come up with all these things by yourself, and I am not expecting you to be able to like critically evaluate everything. However, if someone turns around and say, "Hey, I noticed these things. What do you think?" You
yeah,
should be able to turn around and actually give your opinion back.
yeah, it's not supposed to be like, oh, you're not properly engaging.
It's not like a, oh, you're not properly watching the show or you're watching the show wrong. It's just like a, if you are watching a show and you are genuinely invested in it, you should be able to have conversations with people.
Mhm.
Maybe even not about like the critically evaluating it, but you should be able to hear something that someone else has said
Like,
and
whether
give
it's
your
just
opinion on it,
like
whether
it
that
might
be
not,
agreeing with it or disagreeing with it.
yeah, it might not be about the misogyny of the show, but you might be able to talk about specific character arcs in it rather than something quote unquote being a like a hot box,
Hmm.
because that's how fandoms are supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because another example that we had for like an ensemble cast where you still have like a main character is Jurassic World Camp
Camp
Cretaceous,
Cretaceous.
which we love if you could not
Ba-da-ba-da-bow.
tell by Zim immediately bursting into song. Uh we love that show. We like the sequel to it as well, the sequel show to it.
Oh, the sequel's so fucking good.
It is, it
Oh,
is.
Chaos Theory. Oh,
My
they're both
beloved.
so good.
Um which does something kind of similar to the Amazing Digital Circus. Not in terms of like theme
At
or
least in the
anything.
beginning.
Yeah. But
The beginning of the Amazing Digital Circus. That
yeah.
is. Where it's an ensemble cast. There is a main character whose name is Darius. You follow him, he's like the main focus. He's like you see things from his perspective the most, and it's very clear that he is the one that we are like following. Basically, there is a group that is along with him. However, everyone in that group then receives the same level of character
Attention.
development and plot points that Darius does, even if Darius is the main character. And you can still tell that he is the main character because he is the leader, but and
And
he
you
is
are
the one that everyone like
consistently,
turns to when they're right. But
yeah.
all the rest of them get the same love that Darius does.
Hmm. And it's why we like Camp Cretaceous. Camp Cretaceous is one of those shows where it's really hard. Well, it's not really hard, but it was hard for me to have a favorite character because everybody is given the same amount of attention and I can latch on to what their developments were and I can have thoughts on those. And it's really good. I can't
Hmm.
really do the same with uh the Amazing Digital Circus. I'm being called. Hold on, you take over.
Okay. You can't really do the same with the Amazing Digital Circus because for in Ez's case, they're like the characters that they relate to the most are background characters, but it's also because there are very clearly favorites in the Amazing Digital Circus. They get significantly more development. In Camp Cretaceous, there is a character that is dubbed the quote-unquote least favorite, but that is not because he doesn't get development. That's because the writers keep trying to kill him. And he just, like, they keep trying to kill him off, but he just doesn't die. So you can tell that he's the quote-unquote least favorite. They want him gone, but that's not because they then just stop giving his character any semblance of, like, love or development or, like, nuance. They just kind of want him dead. But Camp Cretaceous focuses on all its characters very well. They all have flaws, they all have conflicts with each other, they have various things that work and don't work when in certain situations. They're very complex characters. They're all kids as well, which is very interesting, having main characters who are children and making them as complex as you have, as Camp Cretaceous has. But they work together because they are under the understanding of, hey, if we don't work together and stick together, we're gonna die here. And that's like how it started up, with them actually working together as a team to get off the island, is like a, hey, we need to work together to survive. But that's also the thing, because with Camp Cretaceous, they keep a goal in mind for all the characters to work towards, while also keeping interpersonal conflicts and character development still very prevalent. And it's also one of those where they do it very well, because there are some issues that some characters have that crop up in season 1, and then they kind of disappear in a couple other seasons and come back in a later season. And it's not because they're reheating their own, like, writing, but it's one of those where they're like, well, in these other seasons, this situation that caused this conflict hadn't arisen. However, we are in a different situation where that situation has started up again, and conflict was never resolved the first time. It just so happens that they weren't in a place that was causing the conflict to start up, which I think it's so good. It's so well written, in my opinion. And in Ez's opinion as well. We both fucking love
Yeah.
it.
I feel like Camp
But
Cretaceous is one of those shows where maybe I wouldn't be able to go plot point for you with you, but if you were able to
yeah.
ask me about like every individual like conflict in it, oh, I could tell you. I could tell you all
Oh
their
yeah.
individual
And
arcs
that's
because I fucking
and that is
loved that
also
show.
but that's also what's interesting, is not only is that the case, but it also is like it creates memorable moments. Like
Hmm.
with the Amazing Digital Circus, the amount of times that I had to correct and like re-jog Ez's memory on what was actually happening with characters at specific points. And even then I forget, and then randomly I'll remember and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, no, this actually happened in this scene. Because in Camp Cretaceous they create memorable conflicts
And they
that
bring it
actually
up
make sense
consistently, not in an annoying
and
way, just
work.
being like,
Yeah.
they do it in a
And as
way
I
that they're
said, it's like,
reminiscing a lot about it.
yeah, it's like, hey, character A and B have an argument in season 1, and they don't resolve it, but it doesn't crop up again in season 2 because they are in a different area. However, in season 3, they are in a very similar area to season 1, and the argument happens again. Not because it's like
Not in
reheating their own
areas, but
writing,
situations where they're trying to
but
survive
situation, yeah,
again.
it's just like the argument happens again because they are in a very similar situation to season 1. Does this mean that we are reheating the argument? No, because it was never resolved the first time, and it was very clearly not resolved the first time. And because they are in the same situation, of course they would have the same conflict or similar conflict happen again.
You know what's
But
funny?
also I think, yeah,
One of them is supposed to be a kid show, and that's the one that's doing
yeah,
it better.
and that's the one that's got the most development.
Yeah.
But also another thing that I find is with one of my main things with Camp Cretaceous and the Amazing Digital Circus that I can very clearly like draw a line between is Camp Cretaceous doesn't forget about its characters or sideline a character and their development so that another character can get the spotlight. The Amazing Digital Circus does. Because also that happens with the men and non-men. It isn't the fact that they don't both get a moment or have their moments, but a lot of the time the non-men characters will have their moments sidelined so that the men can have their moment too. Like with Zubul and Kane, and with Ragatha and Jax and Ragatha and Kinger. Basically, as soon as a non-men character in the Amazing Digital Circus has a moment, it is very often very quickly sidelined by a male character having a bigger moment. And Camp Cretaceous doesn't do that. Not just because of, like, quote-unquote, boys versus girls or whatever, but it never sidelines its characters or their moments to give another character a bigger moment. Yes, there are characters that do have bigger moments at the same time as other characters having less big moments, but you never feel like the less big moment is being sidelined, because it is important to that character and it is important to the narrative. It just so happens that there is another point that is happening that is important to a different character.
Another thing with our ensemble cast in both shows, you see everybody interact with one another. Like, every single duo you can imagine has happened in Camp
Camp Cretaceous.
Cretaceous. You don't have that happening in the Amazing Digital Circus.
Ben and Kenji, my beloveds.
Oh, so true,
Queers.
so true. Fucking
The queers.
Yasmina and Sammy.
Yaz
God, I
and
love
Ben
them.
make me cry.
Yaz and Ben! Oh, I fucking...
Yaz and Ben make me cry. They make me cry, bro. But that's also the thing. Like, you can pick one character and look at their relationship with all the other ensemble, and you have clear dynamics. You have set things that
Like,
go on between
sure,
the two of them.
you have some dynamics that are more divulged than others, but they all still
There's
have
still
their
a dynamic.
moments.
Like, Sammy and Kenji, they didn't really have a lot in Camp Cretaceous. They had a dynamic, but when you compared them to some of the other dynamics the two characters had, it was very clear that they had stronger relations to other characters. That didn't mean they
Yasmina and
didn't have a
Brooklyn.
dynamic or relations to each other, but but it still was like, hey, these two are friends, they have a dynamic with each other. It just so happens they're closer to these other characters. That does not mean their dynamic is any less important to them. It just so happens that they have stronger relations to the other characters.
Yeah, Yasmina and Brooklyn. Those two have
And
moments
also,
together.
to be fair, the Amazing Digital Circus isn't getting like another season or like another show or whatever. But I do love that in Camp Cretaceous, when they did have those dynamics that were like a little weaker, like Sammy and Kenji, in Chaos Theory, they specifically went out of their way to give them little moments. Like in the last season of Chaos Theory, when Kenji and Sammy are together, and they're like talking to each other about all of these things that they're going through, and like they have that silly moment where the tablet's broken and they're in the car and they agree with each other, where they're just like, they agree with each other against the rest of the group about a very big situation that is happening. And that didn't happen in Camp Cretaceous, but that did happen in Chaos Theory, showing that they do still have a good dynamic and a dynamic that they can build plot points off of. It just so happens that when they were kids, it wasn't as strong as when they ended up growing up together.
Ben and
And
Brooklyn.
yes, the Amazing Digital Circus will not have that opportunity to actually, develop that kind of relation, but that is personally another reason on why I think Chaos Theory is such a good sequel show
Yeah,
to Camp Cretaceous, because
I
it
think
looks at the little issues that Camp Cretaceous had. Not big issues, but like little weaknesses, and they're just like, we can fix that. We can like not even fix that, but we can like make those stronger, and they fucking did. And rah!
You guys can tell the
Sorry.
clear difference when you can hear the joy in Zim's voice while talking about Camp Cretaceous. Um,
Yeah. You can, but that's another thing between the two shows. I like both of the shows, but in the way that I talk about both shows, you can tell that I think that one of them is done significantly better than the other for a variety of reasons, and not just because of like my own personal enjoyment, but like
or the
I,
length
and
of the
even then,
shows.
but even then, I didn't particularly fuck with dinosaurs all that much. I didn't, and I'm not the biggest fan of long shows. And I do fuck with the idea of AI and being trapped in like psychological thrillers. But Camtasia and Chaos Theory are very clearly shows that I enjoy a lot more than The Amazing Digital Circus, despite the fact that it already has 2 points that go against it in like what I enjoy in a show.
Another minor point is that I think even if we only watched the first season of Camp Cretaceous, you would still love it so much.
Oh yeah, it'd still be fucking leagues better. I would love it so much. I loved season 1 of Camp Cretaceous. We finished watching season 1 of Camp Cretaceous, and I asked you how many seasons there were because I needed more injected into my veins. I was like, I
And it wasn't
need.
even because of a cliffhanger. It was just because it was that fucking good.
It's just because it was that enjoyable and the characters interacted that well. I was like, I'm genuinely really, really excited to see these characters interact more. It wasn't just that I wanted to see the plot continue. I couldn't give a fuck about the plot at that point. I wanted to see the characters interact with each other because it was so interesting and it was
Hmm.
so well done.
By the way, guys, this is an ad for Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Go watch it.
Watch
It's on
Camp
YouTube.
Cretaceous now.
It's on Netflix, not YouTube. It's on Netflix. Go watch
It's
it,
on
pretty
Netflix.
please.
Watch it. It's so fucking good. It is
It's
so
got
good and it is so criminally underrated.
it is. It's fucking great, man.
Please, please. I need
Please.
more people to watch the show. I need it. I need
Yeah.
it. I fucking pitched that show to my dad. That's how much I love that show and how good it is in my mind.
Well, did he
I
take the
pitched it
pitch?
to my fucking father.
Did he take the pitch?
He doesn't watch animated shows.
God damn it.
Yeah, he doesn't watch
Here's the
animated shows unless they're like Madagascar, like Penguins of Madagascar and King Julian. He watches those shows. But that was also because he would come on for me and my brother to watch, and then he'd end up just kind of staying in the same room as us.
Mhm.
But no, so basically, there was a billboard, there was a board outside of a McDonald's that we had gone to. Not my choice. Not my choice.
I figured.
Also, it was like when Chaos Theory came out, and it said Chaos Theory, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that show with my friend, and he was just like, oh yeah, and he asked me about it, and I was like, it's a sequel show to a show called Camp Cretaceous, and I ended up info dumping about Camp Cretaceous for about 2 hours because it was so good. I was pitching this show to my father for 2 fucking hours, being like, if you want to watch a Jurassic show, this is the
This is the
show.
one
But
you
he
go
also
for.
isn't really into dinosaurs, so he was like, yeah,
Here's the
it
thing. Here's the
sounds
thing.
good.
I've watched
He
the
said it sounded
main
good. He just didn't want to watch it.
I've watched all the main movies for Jurassic World and I've watched the movies for Jurassic Park as well. I would much rather somebody watched Camp Cretaceous over those actual movies.
Pretty much. And here's another thing. I wasn't into
You
dinosaurs
watched the
because
show,
I
Ice? Ice, did you watch the show?
Did you watch the show? Did you watch the show? Please tell me you watched the show. Please, please, please.
They went, "Oh, I just realized I watched that show." Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Is
Also,
it good?
Ice, can I get a pronoun check, pretty please? I feel like a streamer saying pronoun check. That felt weird.
I'm frothing at the mouth. I'm like salivating talking about Camp Cretaceous. I need to calm down. Anyway,
You watched part of it.
um,
Fully, I fully encourage you to watch the full thing. And then
it's
Chaos
very
Theory.
good. It is very good.
Rewatch the entire
Um,
thing. Don't just go in there like not remembering what happened. You need to watch the full of it.
watch the whole thing. Watch it from beginning to end. Like,
Any is
please.
good. Okay, cool.
And but another thing is I didn't like any Jurassic stuff as well because I was at a young age on the channel that I was watching on the TV, one of the Jurassic movies popped up, and I immediately got a visceral hatred for any of those movies because the T-Rex ate a dog, and I was very upset. So I wasn't interested in ever watching anything Jurassic related. And then Ez was just like, well, there's this show. And I was like, you know what? Fine. It will probably just be a show that I don't really pay attention to. If you want to watch it, we can
You
watch
guys
it.
are
I'll
making me want to
probably
watch it.
not pay
Watch it!
attention.
Watch it!
Watch it!
Patches,
Watch it,
watch it!
please! Please,
I
please,
will
please,
watch
please,
it with
please!
you if I need to. And this is the one show that I will consistently badger you about because I'll take any chance to rewatch it. I fucking love that show. Can you
Please!
imagine the shit we went through trying to find new episodes, all the new episodes, and I would go check it every single time a new episode dropped to just be like, okay, is it there? Is it there? Is it there yet?
Is it
And then
there?
if
Is
it
it there? Is there? We
and then here's the thing.
obsessively were checking.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If I didn't check it, Zim would ask.
I would fucking ask. And that's insane. I have never, ever, on any of the fucking shows, asked Ez, has a new episode dropped yet? Ever. And then when Chaos Theory came out, I was like, every other week, I was just like, is there a new episode? And can we watch it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, like, if we were busy at the time, like, because there is one thing that we make time for, and it was Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory.
On top of that, there were multiple times where both of us, we would be like, our schedules are really fucking busy right now. However, we both have 30 minutes on this day that line up, and we would hop in call, watch an episode, and then leave call like 5 minutes later. There would be 5 minutes of us talking to each other,
No, and it's
then
not
we'd watch
even.
and watching the episode.
It wasn't even the fact that the episode itself was 30 minutes long. That was for breathing room. Because
That was for breathing room.
yeah, me and Zim talk a lot during shows and movies, and we needed that time so we could talk during the shows. Because there was
Yeah, we
moments
would
where
literally,
we would just
we would
sit
basically be
there.
like, if we have an hour together, like an hour free at the same time, we would hop on to watch one of those episodes, and then we'd like leave just to give us breathing room to talk. But if we could sit still and be quiet for the episode runtime, we would have watched, like, we would have literally hopped on call together for 30 minutes in pure fucking silence to watch those episodes and then left.
Yeah. We love that show.
That is how
Also,
much we love this show.
sorry, not Icy. Sorry, I had a notification from a mutual who's named Icy. Uh, Ice. If you say, wait, I think I fully watched it, that is, if you add I think there, that is your sign to rewatch it.
That
Because
is your
if you
sign to
can't
watch it again, my
remember it,
friend. If you
if you
can't
can't
remember,
remember
you
it,
need to re-jog your memory.
and
You need
then,
to be sure that you watched it all.
yeah, because that is something that you need in your life. It's not a want, it's a
Something you
need.
need. It's a need. I love how we
Because it
started this stream bitching about the Amazing Digital Circus, and now we're just like, you need to watch the dinos.
because it's better. It's simply
It's
better.
better.
And if you're like, oh, I want not Camp Cretaceous, the Amazing Digital Circus for like the mental issues and the representations of my queerness, watch Camp
It's
Cretaceous.
still there. And you want to
It's
know
still
something
there.
amazing? Patches! And you want to know something amazing? Patches, I'm pitching this to you. If you want queer representation and mentally ill representation, Camp Cretaceous still fucking has that, because they have a canon lesbian couple! Canon! And not
Mm-hmm.
just background characters, not side characters, in the main fucking six! There is a
One of the
canon
main
lesbian couple!
six. One of the
In
main
the main
six
characters! In the
has two
main
fucking
six of an
dads.
ensemble show!
Yep. And then if you want a fucking himbo in there, not a himbo. What the fuck was Dan? Dan question mark? David? David.
He's a himbo. He's a
David.
himbo.
He's a himbo, yeah. He was fucking
Himbo.
ridiculous. We loved him. If you want a fucking
There
girl
is
boss
a
in your show,
side
there is
character that is a
multiple.
himbo. There
If
are
you want
multiple himbos. And there's
if you want black
generational
representation,
trauma.
if you want Mexican representation, if you want Asian representation, I got the show fucking for you.
There are gays, there are minorities, there's generational trauma, there's OCD, there's germaphobes, there's autism, there's
redheads.
ADHD, there's everything.
There's redheads. There's a singular
There's redheads! There's even a redhead!
And most of
My
all,
God,
it's got fucking dinosaurs.
And it's got dinosaurs, and oh my god, the fucking details of the show. Patches,
Dude,
I'm
there was
grabbing
a
you by the
scene-
shoulders.
There was a scene that you could see the dust in the air while they were hiding, and we were both going fucking insane.
Yeah, you could see the light hitting the dust particles and doing that swirly shit. And on top of that, Patches, I'm grabbing your fucking shoulders. There is a character, one of the main characters. She has dyed pink hair, and they are on this island for a couple months. Do you know what detail they added? Do you know what lovely, lovely fucking detail they added? Like mid-season? They showed her roots growing in. They went through the fucking effort of making her a new fucking model to give the detail that her roots were growing in.
Mm-hmm. And then you might have details that you're like, oh, that's something that'll never come back up again. No.
It will! You just gotta wait.
You gotta wait. The fucking dino necklace.
Patches. You gotta wait. There.
Dino
It
necklace.
will appear. It will appear.
Little details, little character mannerisms that you just kind of like toss into the wind. No, that's relevant.
And it's important, and it will come back in the pop quiz. And on top of that, if you see them set something up in an early season, and you go through the next season and it hasn't happened yet, trust me, they didn't forget. They're waiting. They are biding their fucking time, and it will happen.
You want to know another thing? This is just for fanon. The storyboard artists, they believe them in the main group being a polycule. You know that? You see how rare that is in the production team? Like, literally. Zim, are you there?
I'm fucking tweaking, bro. I'm shaking. I'm like, oh my god, shaking.
I'm fiddling with my hands because I have so much energy and I'm so excited about this show, and we are not watching it and right now, and I think that's a crime.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, we should watch it again. As soon as we started talking it, I wanted to turn random you, and I was just like, we need to watch it.
Zim, grabbing your hand, I know what we're doing tomorrow.
We're watching the Dino Show. It's like crack to us.
It is. Zim, if we ever join another D&D group or we have to make new characters, I vote we make an OC based off the main, not main 6. What is the thing? Nublar 6.
We do technically have them.
You're right, we do have that.
We do have OCs. We do have an OC for you and an OC for me.
Dude, can we watch it on live? I want to rewatch it. Dude! We could do that!
We could. God, we could. We wouldn't get copyright struck for that either. We could. Oh my god. Tomorrow we can just fucking watch Camp Cretaceous together on stream!
Yeah, and then here's the thing. We don't even have to upload it as a VOD, and if we did, we would have to edit it down anyways
Yeah,
because of it.
yeah.
But here's the thing though, if we did do that, we would have to put our puppets away
Fine. Or you can
because
make
when
them
you
small.
no, not that.
Ah,
Because if you edit it, we need to find a way to like edit the actual like video so we don't get copyright struck in the video, and that makes it harder if you have like a little reaction guy in the corner
no, not
of the
really, because
actual.
you can just add an overlay. You can add an overlay of an image that's at like 50% opacity, which basically implies that uh we are not gaining money off of this.
Oh yeah.
Because the
I
copyright is to protect the intellectual property, to basically be like, no one else can profit off of this. We are not profiting off of it. It is like
I
a reaction
have
stream, basically, and there are plenty of reaction streamers who stream like actual shows and get money off of it.
yeah,
But
I've
that's
seen
because
those.
they're not claiming the show is theirs, they are just gaining money off of their reactions. But we're not doing that.
I I vote I make a banner of our direct Camp Cretaceous OCs, and that's what we overlay
Yes.
it with.
Yes.
Because we have an
Yes.
OC already designed for Zim.
Mhm.
Mine I still need to do. Which is never the
Yeah.
case, might I add.
It's usually me that doesn't have the OC design.
Like, it still holds true with a lot of OCs that we have because I'm one who, like, usually designs them. Or,
Hmm.
not in the case that I overtake all of the designing tips. It's just Zim, like, tosses shit at me and I grab them and then I mash them together in a blender and I just, like, throw something at back, just like, this good?
Yeah,
And I
because
get the go ahead.
Ez is far more of the artist than I am, so a lot of the time when it comes to like actually designing shit, Ez is the one who ends up designing it. I will give them ideas, I will throw ideas at them and basically be like, this would be interesting and this is like a good thing to have in X, Y, and Z for all these other reasons, but I can't actually like put it on a paper. But Ez
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, when Zim was making a Transformers OC to pair with mine, uh, let me rephrase that. When Zim made an OC for Spark Charger to get along with,
Yeah,
I say that because we've done that multiple times.
very vague.
Yeah. Uh, he
Not giving
sent
away the lore.
me the idea for the face and then little design details such as like silhouette and like what little features he had.
Hmm.
And then I use that and then I make a design and I'm just like, hey, this good? And then I usually get the go ahead.
Yeah,
And then I finish lining it and then I toss it back at him so he can fucking color it.
color it. Yeah. Because I'm good with colors. I can figure out which colors work pretty well together, but I can't actually like get the design out on a paper.
Hmm. I think, ironically, the one design that you didn't really have much of a thing in was the Camp Cretaceous thing. Because I made it
Yeah.
as a Sona for you, as like a silly, funny,
Yeah.
goofy thing. And then we went, wait, we can repurpose you.
Mhm.
And it worked out so fucking well. Because
It did.
we
It
made
really
it to
did.
where it fit perfectly into the universe.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell them about your OC?
Okay. So basically, we had this idea. Shush. We had this idea. Where it was like, hey, this is like a very advanced robotics, like all this other stuff, and genetics and all these other things. So it would actually be very common for there to probably be bots that are like, not service animals, but they're like therapy droids. They're like emotional support robots that go around. And you can have different designs and different like customizations based on what you as a person need for everyday life. So my Sona is a robot, a therapy robot for Ez's OC, or my OC
Specifically
is a
for
therapy
anxiety.
robot for Ez's OC. Specifically for anxiety.
Because
And
these are
this,
like self-inserts rather than just
yes,
OCs.
yes. They, but also they are like a screen head one because, as is OC needs like some stimuli sometimes, so they'll have like stuff playing on, but they're also based off of a cat, because that is an animal that as his OC sees as like safe, as like more palatable, as like something to just like all these other things, which means their like hands are kind of like stim toys and all these other things, and it's just like all this other stuff.
And the cat
And
ears
it's
are the
a
fucking antenna on top.
yeah, and they have a tail and they have longer arms to be able to like properly hold as his OC is like a compression thing, and they
And then
have
the tail,
a tail.
the tail
Yeah,
is my favorite part,
the
I'll be so
tail,
fucking honest.
tail.
The tail opens up to be solar panels because the
hmm
robot uses solar power.
Yes. So this robot is very heavily customized to bring the most therapy and comfort towards Ez's OC. So this is like for all of their things for anxiety, for all this other stuff, and also for anything else they might have, like autism and ADHD. And so Ez's OC also won a opportunity to go to this island and was immediately like, I need my therapy droid. um, because they wanted to go, but they needed the therapy droid there. So this robot will basically tag along with all these kids. And this robot isn't an adult, it is the same age as all the rest of them, because that was another thing that brought as his OC the most comfort was they needed a therapy, like a therapist basically, that wasn't actually like quote unquote an adult
It
because
needed
of
more of
distrust
a
and anxiety and
friend.
all these other things. And they needed a friend as well. So this therapy droid is like all those combined into one. So they're basically the same age as all these other guys. And we managed to fit it into the lore very fucking well because I was just like, well, also there's many points in the show where they need to rely on technology and hacking into things. And they could have all of these other things happening with this droid also helping them because they are made of electronics. And yeah, they're very
Like
silly and
that
I really like
moment
them.
we were watching Chaos Theory and they were like protecting the egg and we were like,
Yeah.
dude, we could put it in the chest compartment.
We
God, that
could
was
put it in the
fucking
chest compartment.
brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, they also have like a chest compartment to keep
Store
valuables and stuff.
blankets,
Yes, to just
specifically.
store stuff that brings this their friend comfort and all these other things. And we also turned around and was like, it would be interesting if the development of this character throughout the show of Camp Cretaceous was they were far more robotic and less like sentient, if you will, in the beginning, and then as they go through basically PTSD and all of these stressful situations and everything, they start developing their own sentience and like become their own person. And I was like, that would be interesting because that also parallels how a lot of like therapy friends are often very much people pleasers for others and will put other themselves to not really have their own personality or their own person until something bad happens and they're suddenly like, wait, and they have to basically rebuild themselves up from the ground up. And I liked that idea. I was like, yes. You can see we've thought about this.
Yeah, specifically Zim has thought about this to like
I have thought about this.
a level of insanity.
I see. Here's the thing: someone needs to put me in a writer's room, any writer's room. Just give me a fucking writer's room where they have a plot, and I will go fucking ham. Cause that's another thing as well. Like all of these other things where I will, and unfortunately is also the case where I'll like dis a media with someone like either The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Camp Cretaceous or all these other stuff, And I will then pitch ideas to them where I'm just like, well, it'd be interesting if they did this. And every single fucking one of them turns around and is like, actually, yeah, that's a really good idea. Why don't they do that? And I'm like, see?
Here's the funny thing. I can't think of
Like
any
Kung Fu Panda.
examples where that you needed to do this with Camp Cretaceous.
No,
Not
I
at the
didn't, because
moment,
Camp Cretaceous
anyways.
is fucking perfect. I was just adding new characters and I managed to integrate them in perfectly. And
Yeah,
you were just
that's
like,
what
that
I was
actually worked
saying.
really fucking well. I was like, yes. I don't need to fix Camp Cretaceous because it is perfect. But an example of such is the movie Kung Fu Panda 4. I don't like it. There are a lot of issues that I have with that, and every single time and I have come up with a new kind of like idea and plot for it, and for a fifth movie, and every single time I tell someone about this new movie idea I have and like how I would fix that movie, every single fucking one of them turns around and is just like, you actually need to write that and make that happen because that is so much better than what we got. Like,
Any
yes,
ideas for
yes.
me? I don't know what kind of
Put me in a
OCs you
writing room.
usually make or like how you usually try to integrate them into the world. So I don't know how to help you make a new OC or any ideas. Zim, do you have
So
anything?
my main thing is for creating an OC for anything, if you want to create an OC for something and properly like fit them in, because there are like different kinds of OCs you can have. There's an OC that you can make that doesn't fit in with the plot, doesn't fit in with like anything to do with the main characters, but is just in the universe. That's a type of OC you can have, and with that you can basically just go fucking buck wild with them. If you want to make an OC that is very heavily tied to the plot of the media that you are watching, I will ask you, or I will always go into the mindset of, if there was a character on screen right now that was doing these things, would I like this character or not like this character? Or would I think that this is a good character or something that is forced? That is my main point, is if you're just putting it in the universe, like with Transformers, if you're just making a Transformer OC, you don't need to put in that kind of level of thought process because you can just go fucking buck wild and have fun because of how big the universe is. But if you are trying to look at like a specific media, like say Transformers Prime, and you're trying to make an OC for Transformers Prime that's in the main show, I would look at the ideas and concepts that you have and think to yourself, if this was a character in this show already doing these things, would I enjoy it? Would I not enjoy it? Or would I prefer they do something else? That's how I usually go about like creating OCs that fit into storylines, is just if this was a pre-existing situation and a pre-existing character did this, would I think that that is a good thing to happen, or would I prefer they not do that? And there have been quite a few times where I have made an OC and like fit them into the plot, and I've tried to fit them into certain scenes, and then ended up having to tell myself, no, that doesn't fit in there. If there was a character doing that, I wouldn't enjoy it if I was watching this show and I saw a character do that. So I scrap the idea. If you want an OC that fits in with the plot, you have to get comfortable with the idea of scrapping your ideas. I think is the main thing that a lot of people don't tell you. If you want to make an OC for a plot that already exists, get comfortable with the idea of coming up with ideas and getting attached to those ideas and then having to look at yourself and go, no, that doesn't fit, or no, that won't work. But if you're just making an OC for the sake of making an OC, as in you just want it in the universe, or you want it like not in the plot, but kind of like in the sidelines, you don't need to do that. You can just add it in for the fuck of it and for fun. Which I think is that's like a lot of people don't really tell you that. There's like two ways you can make OCs, which is I'm just doing this for fun and I want it to fit in. And if you want it to fit in, you have to be very used to telling yourself no. And like not invalidating your own ideas, but kind of being your own criticism and being like, would this actually work? But if you're just making OCs for fun, whatever. A lot of the times when I'm making an OC, I will think of a concept or something that I wish would happen, and then I'll build off from there. That's how I personally go about it. Me personally, at least. I know that Ez has like a completely different process that they do, but for me, making an OC falls into those two categories, and as thus I treat them differently. But if I'm making an OC, just making an OC before I figure out if I want it to be like with the plot or just for fun, I will often think to myself, it'd be interesting if this happened. And I will try and build a character off of that. Like with the Camp Cretaceous ones, the idea was simply it'd be interesting if me and Ez were a part of this kind of group. And then I made it fit. And I like integrated us in and I actually like made it work. But that was the concept that started off the OC making.
The
And
thing that I
with
do with
yeah.
mine, just as a real quick before I forget what the
Yeah.
point was, because you said that I made mine differently. I usually put a design down first, or
Mm-hmm.
I make a personality in my head, and then I make that design, and I then add what I think they would do into that universe. How would they interact with other characters? Why would they be
Mm-hmm.
interacting with those characters? And how they would be interacting with those characters. And
Yeah.
then I start building that sort of backstory for that character.
Mm-hmm. For example on my process, I do have a Amazing Digital Circus OC kind of. Actually, no, I'll go with Myth of the Machine. I have a concept for Myth of the Machine, which is we have it's like a. If you know Bendy and the Quest for the Ink Machine, it's like a non-nonce version of that, basically. Um, but there is an OC concept that I have. And how I first came up with that OC concept was one of the creators was asked how would Boris feel if someone like flirted with him or something else happened, like or a relationship or something. And they in character responded that Boris would not be ready for that. And Bendy then criticizes him and says, "You're still not over that? Come on, dude. You need to like actually start like doing all these things." And that created the idea in my head where I was like, okay, that sounds like this character, Boris, had a previous relationship in the past. And I'm sure they'll actually make a character for it. But I want to explore that concept a little more. So then I looked at Boris's backstory and like what I knew about his backstory and thought to myself, okay, if I were to create a character who would be a love interest for Boris, where would I fit them in? Like, where in the lore that I already know would they fit in? And I decided that I was like, I think they would meet each other while Boris was in a religious school, or like a nunnery, basically, because him and his brother were in a nunnery and they had like a school run by nuns. And I was like, I think they would meet each other there. And then I was like, okay, so what kind of personality do I think would complement Boris very well? And I decided like a very carefree, kind of sassy kind of attitude. Not like I don't give a shit about anything kind of carefree, but like a you need to loosen up kind of carefree. You only live once kind of carefree. So then that was the personality decided. And then I was like, okay, now I need to start thinking about what this character would kind of look like. And I decided a skeleton because I thought bones and dogs was like a funny thing. I thought that
Sure.
was funny. So I was like, you know
Sure.
what? Why not? Dogs like bones. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
There is another reason, but I was like, that was the main reason. I
Uh-huh.
am unhealthily obsessed with skeletons, but like the main reason I decided was, haha, dogs like bones. I think it'd be funny if it was like a skeleton cartoon.
Totally.
And then I just slowly started building up from there, and I decided more on like a backstory, more more complex personality, how the character would interact with the situations if they were to appear in the comic like now, like all these other things. And that is how I created that OC, which I still need to draw, but I have a design in mind. Like it's sort of like you start with one question and then just keep asking yourself questions until you flesh the character out. And then you have your own OC.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's personally how I do it, is I just keep asking myself questions with new information that I receive. If it's like a show, I watch one episode and I will ask myself, okay, how would my character react in this episode to these things that are happening, basically? As like a sort of, okay, if I were to just like airdrop my OC into the plot now, into
Airdrop?
this episode, yes. If I were to just put them in there now, how would they react to these situations? And get my answer. Like, you're gonna laugh at me, but I have kind of made an OC for uh the Goat movie. I have I've thought of one. I have created a concept. But yeah, so I'm very quick to make OCs, but that's purely and simply because I like creating things and I like adding things to stuff I already enjoy.
I like adding
So
narrative to OCs as well.
yes, I like adding narrative to the OCs. I very often Ez has come to me with an OC concept and given me like a brief like thing, and I've gone, okay, let me put them in my Barbie dollhouse and roleplay with them in my head, and I'll create like all these situations, and then I'll pitch ideas to Ez about their own fucking OCs and what they would do.
Don't worry, I'm right where I want to be.
Yeah, Ez is exactly where they want to be. I have also stated many times, I was like, if you have an issue with me doing this, tell me. And they're just like, no, I'm not gonna fucking stop you. Are you insane?
Thriving,
You
yeah,
think I'd
man.
stop this? I'm
Also, I
happy.
want
I
you
am
to look at the
thriving.
server real quick.
Ah, yes. Sorry. I got a
Go ahead.
yawn 5,000. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah! My baby! My little
Slight,
guy!
slight redesign.
He is being redesigned. But yeah, so another example is me and Ez watched the movie Goat like a week ago, if that. And I have already come up with an OC for it. Because in my head, I was like, oh, well, I have thought of this very interesting concept. Let me flesh it out further. And thus I have. And now I have a little guy in my brain who just randomly appears. But yeah, I'm very much a person who enjoys creating things, enjoys fitting new things into narratives, spinning things around, coming up with theories, trying to
Like, look
figure
at
out
this
how
entire
things would
stream
work.
as
Pretty much.
evidence.
Literally. All the stuff I was saying about the amazing digital circus and things they could do to improve stuff and like all these other things. Like, just look at
And then
that.
how Camp Cretaceous itself is perfect.
Yes, and I very much enjoy creating new narratives. Even for something that is perfect like Camp Cretaceous in my mind, I still like adding stuff into it because it is perfect. It doesn't need any more characters. However, I think it would be fun if we did add in characters, and I think it would be interesting if the characters were like this. And that's
Mhm.
how our OCs have become the way that they are. But it's like I take a lot of joy in making things, making ideas. Maybe not necessarily drawing them or writing them or like actually making them a physical thing, but thinking about it and creating something in my own mind and like even talking to friends about it. Sometimes I don't even want to talk to friends about it. I just want to think it that is something that I enjoy a lot, which means that when it comes to making OCs and storylines and creating concepts, I personally find it a lot easier than some other people do, but that is purely and simply because I like making things. I like coming up with ideas. But that doesn't necessarily mean that these ideas will ever, like, get made. It just means that I like coming up with ideas. So OCs and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff are, like, second nature, which is why I was struggling to kind of explain how my process is, because half of the time it's just, I don't know, I thought of an interesting concept, and then I was like, I can make a guy for this, and then I just made him.
Question, guys. Hold on. Did this screen go black for you, or is my, like, thing bugging? No, it's bugging. Okay, we're cool.
But yeah, I hope that helps you with the whole making your own OCs thing at
But
all,
specifically
because
for
I
Camp
yapped a lot.
Cretaceous, it's one of those things that you definitely need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of areas where you could make an OC because of how many, like, different, I don't want to say storylines, but how many different, like, plots
Different
happen.
plot points, different characters are introduced for to push forward different plot points. There are so many arcs that happen. There are so many new locations. There are so many new threats and all these other things that either appear, disappear, come back at a later time, all this other stuff. So it's very much if you want to make a Camp Cretaceous OC, rewatch everything and then figure out what you want to add in.
Because there's a lot of things that you could do with this
Mm-hmm.
hypothetical. So much so that I wouldn't want to, like, weigh you down because there are things in the show, there are lots that could be added to. But just
Mm-hmm.
because of that, I don't want to limit you. Because you may have
Yeah.
enjoyed one arc more than the other, and you may want an
Yeah,
OC for
that's
that.
yeah. It's very much I will not tell you where you can and cannot fit an OC. If that's asking for, because I don't know how you make them. I don't know what you prefer to do. Like all these other things, you might have one idea that I don't have, but broadly that is how I make OCs, is I will see either a gap or a concept, and I will then think, how can I fill this gap or explore this concept with a character?
I think you actually told me about the skeletons and Boris a little bit once,
I did, very briefly.
but it was more as like an just
Like an X
an
reader thing.
no. Well, you do that too, but that's not what you were doing.
I do that for fun. I also am a fan of character X reader stuff because I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, put me in this situation. Let me see what I do. And
There's
then a
one
lot of the
moment
time
I
I'm like, I would
remember
not do this shit.
there's one moment I
And
remember
that also
vividly where you were reading X Reader fic and I wasn't reading it, you were reading it,
I
but you
was
managed to drag me into the fic with you?
yeah. I was like, I'm bringing you with me.
We're on this adventure together.
It was like not anything you were interested in. I was just like, come here. I need to fix this shit, and you're coming in with me.
Yeah, I was fine with it. I was having fun. I was confused, but I was having fun.
You were just like, alright. But that's also a thing with X readers as well. That's very on a I'll be like, yeah, let me see what I do, and then I will think to myself, I would not do this shit. I would do this shit, and then I end up making an OC for a fanfic to do things differently, and it's a
It's
problem.
magical the things that happen in his head. Like truly.
My brain is it sees a concept or it sees a gap and it's just like, ooh, my shit right there. I'm like, please.
Please let me enjoy something
I cannot enjoy
casually.
anything casually. That was at the same time on my end. I
It was not
can't
on mine.
enjoy anything. casually because as soon as I enjoy something, I am creating concepts and I am making up new shit to go with it. If I am not really enjoying something, I am significantly more relaxed about it. Like, if I'm not enjoying a show, I will not make an OC for that show, and I will quote unquote enjoy it casually. But if I'm enjoying something,
Question
I
for
have
that
created
actually.
several little guys.
Question for that actually. Have you made an OC for the Amazing Digital Circus?
Maybe. I have maybe thought of a concept. Silence stretches on.
Zim,
Yeah.
you gonna share?
No.
You.
Alright, fine.
It's
It's
gonna
a
happen
fucking
eventually, at the very least.
yeah. No, I will say. You know those kind of I don't know if you remember, because it probably was a Scottish thing. I remember in my childhood, one time when I was walking past in a toy shop, there were these
Toy stop.
little soldiers. They kind of looked like nutcrackers, but they were definitely soldiers and they weren't Christmas themed, but they were like based off of different creatures. So there was a werewolf one, there was a zombie one, and there was a skeleton one. And I don't know what exactly they were, but it was like the idea of toy soldiers, these very specific toy soldiers and nutcrackers. And I created an OC that was once again, I am obsessed with skeletons, bear with me. It was like a skeleton nutcracker toy soldier, basically.
So Zim,
So it had like the outfit that nutcrackers have, but it was like a toy soldier, and it had like the gun and everything. And it was a OC character that was a veteran in the real world. So they suffer from, again, PTSD. They have all this other shit going on. And in the gun episode, and they came in at around about the same time as Pomni, actually. So I was gonna make the idea that they were either friends and they did this together, or they were dating in the real world or something, but they don't know that when they're in the circus or whatever. Um, but it's like a PTSD thing, and in the episode where they have the guns, he just uses his own. He just uses his own gun. And it was like this it was a character that had this like very intense anxiety and was very high strung all the time. And in my defense, he does have the gun that has a knife on the end of it, and he does like stab Jax quite a few times.
that's delightful.
Yes. But that was kind of the idea of the OC. There's more details and there's more stuff that's kind of like murky that I'm still like sorting through and figuring out, but that was like the main idea.
Hmm.
Zoe.
No, you're good. I was listening. I was thinking because I haven't even thought of the Amazing Digital Circus OC, and I know, a bit surprising, but it's mostly because there's not like a thing that I could specifically latch onto for me, because it's just like there's not a lot I can see myself doing with the concepts of the show specifically or with the characters. Because I like the characters,
Mm-hmm.
I like the show, but there's not something that I can see myself doing anything with in a creative
Mm-hmm.
lens.
Yeah.
And maybe if I had like a character I was super, super into, I'd make one specifically just to hang out with that character, but I don't. I like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
I don't like a lot of the characters. I like Gangle
I
and I like
think if you were
Zoogle.
to make a, I think if you were to make a character, or if I were to think of a character that's like along your kind of alley or up your street or just kind of based off of you, you know those toys where if you press their head down, it switches the face that they have?
Fucking fuck you.
Yeah. I think it
No,
would be
you're
one of
right,
those
but fuck
where
you.
purely and simply because it was like, one, it could be a commentary on DID, which I know you don't really have, but you do also have it.
What the fuck does that mean?
As in, you don't have a system, but you do have a form of dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay, cool.
You've
Yeah,
talked
that's
about this
fine.
with me before. That's what I
I
meant.
probably have.
Um, as in, like, you don't have a set other, like, headmate, but there's, like,
Yeah.
fragments in there going around, basically, is
Mm-hmm.
what I meant.
Okay.
But on top of that as well, not only as a way of commenting on that dissociative identity disorder, but also the fact that you have BPD and the way that you switch between your motions sometimes feels like someone's just pressed down on your head and suddenly you have a different face on.
No,
Um,
no, sorry, no, I don't disagree with you. I was writing a sort of like vent fic in my notes app, and I want to tell you what I wrote down for my own mood switches.
mhm.
Because it amused me so
Yeah, go
much.
ahead.
Rapidly flicking was one of many emotions, rapidly flicking between them like a kid going crazy with the controller with the controls on a joystick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how I said it's just like, and sometimes you switch through those emotions, like someone who's like rapidly pressing down on that head and like switching the faces all the time, and you were just like, well,
Oh, wouldn't be wrong.
um, it's just like you're not wrong, but yeah, creatively that would be a very interesting thing, not only as a way of showing a difference between Gangle having emotional like issues and her having those kind of mood switches, and another character experiencing those mood switches, but to a more violent degree, as in the sense of I am not my emotions, however, my emotions change so quickly and everyone can tell.
Not in a
That kind of
my
idea.
emotions control me, not in the
Yes.
sense of, but more of like my emotions are me.
Yeah. As in like I am not controlled by my emotions. However, I wear my heart on my sleeve kind of deal. As in
Hmm.
like I am my emotions and you can tell what my emotions are. And if I were to create a character that was up your alley, kind of based on you, but not fully based on you, that is a kind of character that I would personally make.
Don't fucking give me ideas. I hate you.
Join me.
Oh.
Join me.
Because as soon as you went like, oh, if I had to think of a character for you, I was in my head, I was just like, God fucking damn it.
It's like shit, he's gonna give me the worms, the brain worms. No.
Yeah, because that's what happens every time.
He's gonna
Remember
infect
casino
me. He's gonna
cups?
infect
Remember
me.
casino cups, you
I
asshole?
do. That I do. That also very often happens. I will come up with a character concept for as in like a, yeah, if I were to put you into this universe, this is how I do it, and Ez goes, that's a good idea, and then ends up making that happen. Like in Casino Cups, I thought of a concept for making my own OC, and then I was just like, well, if we were to put ourselves in, this is what I would be. And Ez was like, yeah, I have no idea what I would be. And I was just like, well, if I were to put you into a Casino Cups, here's what I would do. And Ez turned around and was like, fuck, I really like that.
You went zap of
Shit, that's a
charge
good
because of
idea.
my pronouns. I was
Yeah,
just
I
like,
went with
fuck,
a,
that's
I was
creative.
like, yeah, I think you would be a electricity based kind of thing, but I also think that you would be a plug, as in like to go into plug sockets because of your pronoun zap, and I thought that would just be like a fun little thing. and you were like, shit.
Shit.
And then
It's
you were
gotta
like,
be
I'm
there.
trying to think of like a backstory for myself, but I can't think of one. And then I came up with one, and you were like, fuck. Yeah.
You suck.
I
I
have
hate you.
fun. I have fun. If Ez has created an OC, I very rarely feel the urge to create an OC to match that OC. Not as like a they don't inspire me creatively, but just as in like a I need specific brainworms. However, if I come up with an OC and Ez hasn't come up with one and is just like, yeah, I wonder, I am very quick to go, well, if I had to make you one, or if I were you and I were making one, I would do this. And every single time I like grab them, it's like I'm grabbing them with my little claws and dragging them down with me.
Dragging me down to hell.
I'm sinking my little claws into your ankles and dragging you along.
I'm right where I want to be. Don't save me.
I and I know Ez is exactly where they want to be. They don't want to be anywhere else. They don't want to
I like
talk
where
to
I
anyone
am.
else about their OCs or having creative fun. But
That
every single time it
sounds
happens, they're like, "Fuck
no,
you."
because that's not that sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not.
I know it's not. I'm being dead ass. I'm
I
being
have
so
I
blunt.
have troubles connecting my OCs with other people's OCs because I fear disconnect between them because I don't know what they like and I don't know if they're okay with doing specific stuff. I don't have that worry with Zem because I know what we're both like.
You also know that like I will very rarely when I am they give me or they tell me an idea. They're like, "Yeah, I have this idea for an OC or this is what I'm doing for this stuff." I will make an OC that works around Ez's lore because I don't have a specific way I make OCs or I prefer making OCs or like all this other stuff because it will basically be I will work around what I am given, and that is another reason on why we're very good at creating characters and stories together because Ez will come to me with a pre-existing idea they have or like a pre-existing character they've made, and I will ask a couple questions, and then I will make an OC that works around them,
Sure.
like your Seeker, and then Bove, and I forget the name of the other one.
Bleed.
Shit. Bleat?
Bleed.
Is it Bleat?
Bleed.
Yeah. Bove and Bleat. Ez had a character, a Seeker Transformer character, and ages ago in the past, I jokingly tried to make an OC to match theirs, but they already were like matching with another friend that they had, so I didn't do anything with it. But then them and that friend kind of grew very distant, so they no longer were matching, and I was just like, well, if you would allow me to wiggle my little brain around in my skull for a moment, would you? And they were like, sure, yeah, go for it. And I created two OCs, and Ez was like, shit, they're really good.
We made them lesbians.
Yeah, I did. They're lesbians. They're the polyamorous lesbians.
Yeah. Also check server.
I will in a moment.
Uh Zim gets the vibe very quickly,
Yeah.
and it's very easy to rapid fire ideas between. And very often it's mostly us putting our OCs together, but very occasionally it will be one OC and then the other just contributes to that OC
Yeah.
and the dynamics around
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's far often more me pitching stuff to Ez about their OCs. Like they'll have an OC and I'm just like, I think it'd be fun if this happened. But there have been quite a few times where I have made an OC and Ez has gone, "Hey, I have an idea for you." And every single time Ez has done that, I like it's quite unfortunate because when I do that to Ez has like very normal responses and will like very normally add on to it. But every time Ez does it to me, I suddenly have a 10,000 word fanfic in my brain and like the entire Bible written out for this idea that has been pitched to me. And I have to like reel myself in, just like my brain, all of my brain power is now dedicated to this one fucking fact you've told me, and I am unwell.
Yeah. I'll have normal responses. Okay, correction. I'll have a normal response if he's contributing a thing to my OC and it's just that OC in concept. He's not
Mm-hmm.
normal if like contribute to that OC but in just that one concept. When we put our OCs together, it's never normal. Never.
When we put our OCs together, we're both not normal. But however, if we have our own individual OCs and the other has pitched an idea, as is normal, I am not.
Yeah.
I'm never normal. As soon as
Never.
OCs or our own things are brought into the fucking mix, I am never normal.
Oh, sorry, this is not related. Sudden idea that uh uh Camp Cretaceous guys match silhouettes.
That's cute.
Yeah,
I like
because I
that
was.
idea. I like that
Thank
idea a
you,
lot.
thank you, thank you.
Good
Not
idea.
pictured for anybody. I'm currently drawing set OCs, giving them little redesigns, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and creating an entirely new design for the other one.
Mm-hmm. I was just having fun,
I am.
doodling away, and I am over here froth mouth, just like the OCs, the OCs.
Mhm. Do you want to? Actually, no, that's not a good idea for Twitch.
Hmm?
I was gonna be like, do you want to tell the lore of Tiny and Solar Flare? And then I was just like,
No, I
that's
don't
not a
think
good
I
idea.
can. I don't think I can
Do that
say
on
that lore
Twitch.
at all. I don't think I can. Well, no, I don't think it's that I can't do it on Twitch. I don't think I can do it in polite company.
Yeah, that's why I said Twitch, because Twitch is just like if you start talking about specific things, it'll just like zap you to the ground. So it's not just polite company, it's also because I'm saying censorship basically, kind of.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying. Whatever.
I get what you're saying.
Hmm. What is I can't say that one either. They're also crazy.
We have quite a few freaky OCs, also.
We came up with like normal C stuff between
Hmm.
Crash Out, Leighton, Ove. You're
The
thinking.
thing is, we have like the thing with Tiny and Solar is there's a lot of lore there that I could discuss. Because we do have a couple freaky OCs, but they have a lot more to them than just that.
Hmm.
It's just I can't talk about the normal lore and not mention the freak shit they get up to. Not because it's so heavily intertwined, it's just it's delightful to me.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand.
It's not like all of the lore is freaky or like all of the lore that isn't freaky is tied so heavily to the lore that is freaky. It's just my own enjoyment. I like when they are freaky little fuckers, and I like talking about it, and I can't talk about it, so I just won't start talking about the normal stuff.
Do you want to go about the little details of our Camp Cretaceous OCs?
Do you?
I would like you to while I doodle.
My brain is blank, dude.
Oh
I
God.
started yapping about OCs, and my brain is filled with every single OC I have ever made, and I'm low-key overwhelming myself.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I can't pick out any individual lore. They're all blending into one. I need a minute to calm down.
Go ahead, man.
I'm just gonna be quiet for a minute.
God. That means I have to be entertaining.
Yeah, it does. I'm gonna mute up so that they can enjoy my lovely little puppet going cross-eyed.
Oh fuck, what can I talk about? Shit. Shit. He's put me in a crossroads. What is something I have done recently? I'm putting my tablet away because I won't be able to be entertaining while I draw. Um, I don't know. What is something I can talk about? Fuck. Shit. Oh, hold on. Big stretch for me. Okay. Fuck. One of the OCs that we had briefly touched upon is Spark Charger and Skull Charger, which were kind of self-inserts, also mostly just OCs. They take influence from us as people, but they are OCs. And they are amigas, which is basically like best friends in Transformers terms. Not Amica, it's Amica Endura, and then something Conjunks. But they're amigas. They're besties. Uh, and I shall say I was, because I don't really, yeah, Spark! I don't really, when do those eyes come up? What do you mean? What do you mean? Zim's, avatar, when he mutes, goes cross-eyed. That's what it was. But Spark Charger and Skull Charger are siblings. And the roleplay I was doing on Twitter, it was mostly Spark, and then I was trying to drag Zim into it. But then he got busy after he like created the profile, and everybody who he was doing threads with just kind of gave up halfway through. And so it just like wasn't really awesome. Yeah, he does that. He does do that. Yes, yes. He's muted, and therefore he is cross-eyed. And we had a lot of interesting concepts we wanted to do, but we never ended up doing it, specifically because like the interest in it kind of faded, because there was like some drama for me specifically in that roleplay group. So and then I got distracted with another thing, with two people specifically who bother me on the daily. I do enjoy them though. Um, so I just kind of keep getting distracted from like Twitter roleplay, and then I tried to start two new threads like semi recently, and neither of those people responded. So the interest kind of faded. Shrugs. But I would love to pick it up again at some point because me and Zim had ideas. We had ideas in our brains. Because the way that the roleplay worked is that you could randomly appear on the Lost Light, and there could be duplicates of characters, uh, because everybody's coming from alternate dimensions, and sometimes you may get a repeat of a specific, uh, specific dimension, universe, not dimension. And we went, okay, Spark goes there first and kind of has like to integrate themselves into the ship to learn about it before deciding to like, hang out with people because they wanted to learn how this universe worked because their cultures are very different. Um and then a few months later Skull joins. And they're both kind of like mourning each other because they feel like they'll never reconnect because they spark bonded. So they can do the thing where they feel each other's emotions, feel how far they are, and such. And so tugging at that bond kind of was fruitless for the first few months where they were apart, so they kind of like stopped trying and gave up because they couldn't contact each other in any way. So the thing that was interesting is that they had no idea one or the other was on the ship because they had stopped trying to reach out towards each other. Doomed siblings, if you will. Tragic siblings, not doomed. Uh and we even went through, I won't say trouble because it was fun for the both of us. Of Hi. Welcome to chat. It was fun for the both of us to make up this world and make up new details. So, and we put our own like special little interests in there, things that we thought were cool, such as the main way being like, you know how you heard of like cuteness aggression? Kind of like that, except those sort of like bruises that you got from it were shown in a way that showed I am most loved by the people around me. And if you didn't have any sort of signs of it, you weren't outcasted, but you were pitied. Yeah. How's it drops? We had lore. We had so much fucking lore. We made our own like sort of like Cybertronian species too. Like I'll be honest, we could have done that fucking ourselves. Made our own fucking lore. Roleplayed with just each other and Patches. Patches is crazy with role playing. And I had the intro, not intro, but them like meeting each other again kind of planned out. I said you're crazy about role playing. Like the fact that you can answer so quickly and so well is insane to me. Still. Um, cuz Spark and Skull were siblings. They loved each other very much. They shared sparks with each other. They have a constant reminder of each other, quite literally in their heart. And their designs mirror each other too. Um, and it's just a lot of details that we put in for the hell of it and the fun of it. Because we liked making OCs together and making our own universes together. So it was fun. We are mentally ill, yes. It reminds me of this one time we were on Twitter and me and Zem were like saying something. And then somebody replied to my post saying, I want what you guys have. And we both replied, autism? Because that's what it was to us at the time. It was just pure autism. Yeah. It's what helped us become friends, but it was not the only force. I will probably have to leave soon. Because it's getting towards the time where I need to be picked up. unfortunately picked up to go to work. Yeah, I know. I know. God forbid.
You
Oh,
know, huh? You
I
know,
know. I know.
you
I'm fucking
know.
grabbing you. I'm shaking you
Um,
around. I'm shaking you around. Take this.
ah, ah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Phew.
we we would come up with a lot of ideas and a lot of stuff that we could do, and then if all that drama happened with the main guys, and then there were other shit that went on, and it was just kind of like we both got busy, and then roleplay wasn't on our mind, and I am still interested in doing it. I just also it's one of those where I need to figure out my own lore because I need
Yeah.
all of Spark's lore, and then I can figure out Skull's lore, and
Mm-hmm.
then I can actually like properly roleplay off of that. Because
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, all Skull's lore is at the moment is just Spark's sibling,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
Like, we know his mannerisms and such, but we don't know him as a
He doesn't
backstory.
actually have like backstory. He needs more sustenance, unfortunately, for me to roleplay
Yeah.
him properly, and I need Spark's lore to make that happen.
Okay. And we will have to cut this here because my
That
mother's
we
on
will.
her way.
That we will. Thank
And
you
we
for
will.
tuning into stream.
Thank you
We
so
were gonna play a
much.
game,
We
but
were.
I'm glad that you guys were entertained enough to just listen to us yap the whole time.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Bye-bye,
joining
everybody.
us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.